Hi everyone, welcome to another how-to video. I'm Mark, and if you don't know who I am, basically you'll see by my channel I keep African cichlids and tropicals as well. So today I'm going to cover the subject of how to breed African cichlids. Lately I've been getting a lot of questions on the subject, so I thought I'd do a video rather than trawling through all the questions and trying to answer them the best I can. With my work now, I'm doing a lot of shift work, so I really haven't got the time to be going through everyone's questions. So I'm doing this video to see if I can help you out as a majority. Before I go into giving you some tips and tricks, I just want to say this is only my personal information. This is probably stuff that I've done that's worked, and some other stuff that I haven't tried out, but other top breeders, they swear by it. Okay, so going into how to breed African cichlids, so you've probably seen my videos of how to set up an African cichlid tank, your stock selection, and then setting up your tank. So the main thing that you want to be worrying about when you set up an African cichlid tank for breeding, like a community tank behind me, is the chances of hibernation. So you're going to get African cichlids that look almost identical, and you can't really say, oh, they're not going to crossbreed and stuff like that. So if you don't see them breeding in the tank, don't worry about keeping the fry. Make sure if you can see them breeding, then obviously they're not probably going to be hybrids. So tips and tricks, okay? Obviously now your tank's fully cycled and you've got your stock. What you're going to be aiming for is the ratios to male to female. I always suggest probably having around about 2 to 3 males to about 5 to 6 females. Sometimes, obviously, tank size is it's going to be quite hard, depending on how many fish you can keep. So if you've only got a small tank, say around about 4 foot, and you're thinking of keeping loads of different species, well then you could try 2 males, 3 females. But if you've got a bigger tank, and then obviously 3 males, 5 or 6 females. What happens is when you have more than one male, the males will obviously they sort of bicker amongst themselves for dominance, and then 9 times out of 10 the more dominant male then will go about his business breeding with the females, and also ensures that one male is always coloured up all the time, and like I said before, that male will be doing most of the breeding. Obviously having more females will keep the stress levels down for the other females. So obviously once the male starts breeding with one female, that female then can go sort of in hiding until the fry is ready to basically come out of her mouth, or depending if you're going to strip the female as well. And then with the other females in the tank, he'll then obviously go after another female. If you only keep sort of 1 female, 1 or 2 females, the males are always going to be hounding that female, stressing her out, and she could end up dying. So little tips, okay? So this is the tip section of the video. What I do weekly, I do a 50% water change, so about down to about here, and I change it straight back with tap water. It's always cold water, so it drops my temperature down from around about 27 degrees to around about 22, 23. They come a bit docile, the fish, obviously getting used to the water drop temperature, but the water starts obviously gradually warming back up as well. 9 times out of 10 you'll see the males, don't know what it is, I think it's because of the new water. Obviously in the well they probably think it's like new rainwater or something like that, new minerals in the water. They go about their business chasing the females, and you always, well, most of the time you're always going to have breeding activity as well. Okay, so if that tip doesn't work, what you can do, you can drop the water level down for about 30% for about 2 to 3 days, and then fill it back up with cold tap water as well. If you do use salts and stuff to buffer your water, then by all means, add accordingly to the percentage of water that you're adding back to the tank. So the 30% drop for a few days sort of mimics drought season in the lake type of thing, and then obviously the 30% increase of water again sort of mimics rain, and then they all go about their business, and then obviously the males chasing the females. So make sure you're keeping track of these tips as well, and if when you're trying them, tick them off if they work, and keep that in your back pocket for next time. Okay, the other one that you can do as well, that I find works, is feeding the tank brine shrimp. I don't know what it is, 1 or 2 days after they've had some a good feed of brine shrimp, not too much brine, some breeding action will obviously occur as well. Other things that you can do, say you've only got a breeding setup, say a 3-foot tank, and you've only got 1 male, you know, it could be that male that, you know, that was left at the breeders or online wherever he bought it from a fish shop, and he got a bunch of females and the male's not doing his job type of thing. It's called the mirror trick, and a lot of breeders use it. I've used it in an all male Mbuna tank to keep the males all coloured up. So what you get a mirror. This is obviously a round mirror and the edges are smoothed off, and what you do, you place it in the tank, in the breeding tank, and what happens is the male thinks there's another male in the tank, and will show dominance to the mirror. Obviously he doesn't know he's showing dominance to himself, and he colours up, so he becomes more dominant, and then 99% of the time he'll then go about his business breeding and stuff like that. So that's a really good tip. You can have 2 mirrors, I've got 2 here as well. Only have it in for a couple of hours, maybe a day, because you don't want to stress the male out too much. Okay, I would say that probably the biggest thing to get the African cichlids breeding is also your water parameters as well. So I mean, that's a whole different another video, but try and keep your pH above 7.8, making sure your GH and KH and all them parameters are all, you know, spot on as well. Good filtration and quality water changes as well. Make sure you get all the crap out of the tank and make sure it's all pristine for them as well. And you can change the aquascaping round quite a bit. And here I've added some more rocks that was in my old aquascape until I get some more black rocks to match the background. And as soon as I change the rocks around, the males are jostling for dominance again. And obviously chasing after the females, digging new territories and stuff like that. So give them good substrate as well. You want a sandy substrate or fine coral sand. Pebbles is sort of a no-no for African cichlids, because African cichlids like to dig, the males do anyway, and they'll dig sort of like breeding, well, you can call it breeding nest if you want. If you watch videos of actually, you know, of a lake on YouTube and stuff like that, you'll actually see they'll breed in these places where they dig. What normally happens is the males will get rid of all the big particles, all the big stones or bits of shell, and they'll only leave sort of the finer stuff. And that's basically, they're like dressing their breeding area. It's like when a fancy bird does his nest up and stuff, it does it all nice to attract the female. That's exactly what they do in their tank. So you want something they can dig, so you can have play sand and stuff like that. Personally, I'm using coral sand in here with a bit of really fine like oyster shell just to buffer the pH, so it's always helping keeping the pH up as well. And I can't really, there's loads of different ways you can do it, but each time you try one, if it doesn't work, you can try a different one. So things you definitely got to consider is your ratio, your higher ratio of females to males. Sometimes it works just having 2 males and 1 female, but once that female starts holding, she's going to get stressed because the male's still going to continue chasing after her and wanting to breed. So always try and keep a lot higher numbers to females to males. Always try and keep 2 males or above as well, depending on what species. If you're going to keep, say, like Demersoni or Demersoni, whichever way you want to pronounce it, it's always best to keep low numbers of males because the males are quite dominant and they will kill each other off. So I think that's pretty much it. Give them a good balanced diet as well. That will help. Vary it up a bit, try different foods, see what's working. You've got nothing high protein, no bloodworms and stuff like that for African cichlids, obviously, because of their dietary system can't cope with it and they'll end up getting Malawi bloat. So like I said at the beginning of the video, these are just my tips, what I've done and what's worked and stuff, and other stuff that other people have done. I might even do another video to this part 2. I'll get some more information from some of my friends who are really good breeders and and got 100 tanks in the sheds and they own shops and stuff like that. But yeah, thank you for watching. Feel free to leave a comment. If you've got any more questions, let me know, and I'll see if I can make another video for you.